get a high price. You will be compared with the generics. And that is what it is. Now it's up to you whether you want to launch the product or you don't want to launch the product. Okay. So therefore, these are the challenges. Another thing which I must tell you here, either this or that. One important thing which we spoke last time when I spoke about Alika is that your planning to launch a product is very important. The pre-launch. So if you are all marketing, you are interested in marketing, remember, never underestimate the pre-launch phase. And usually we say at least 24 months is your pre-launch. And you must be thinking, I have got 2 years to go. Why should I be active right now? But that is the time you do your market research. You understand the behavior. You understand exactly how it is consumed finally. So all of these and data analytics, we used to do a lot of these correspondence mapping, and then we wanted to understand how does it help. What are the key areas? When somebody talks about, I have got an allergy, what do they say exactly, the patients? Do they say I have an allergic rhinitis? They do not use the medical term, right? I say I'm sneezing. I have got a bout of running nose, or I have got those rashes coming out. So how do they speak? So then how do you then communicate back to the physicians? So therefore, the pre-launch phase is very, very vital. And what we do, this, what you call, here also in India, you can do like a panel, advisory panel. So you can get some couple of doctors, then ask them, what do you think about this product X, with this kind of criteria? This is what he does versus this. What do you believe? So these things you do for almost 24 months to sharpen your strategy. Once you are clear about your strategy, then the next thing is about execution. So it's a long answer for your question, but it's challenging and it's very different in two different set of markets. And recently, somebody from DRL reached out to me, and I have nothing to do with the DRL. DRL, Dr. Reddy's laboratories. And they wanted to check with me that whether this happens or not. And I told them in market like Russia is also like very much like India. So there are a lot of, the self-pay markets are there. So the marketing is not so strong because they believe the launching a product at the lowest price is the best thing to do. That is the best strategy. I would say no. Why? Then what is the value of your product? And then as a marketer, then what is your role? This could have been done by my secretary also, if that is the strategy. I don't need an MBA student to come and tell me that, if you have to launch at the lowest price. Because the easiest thing to do. You get my point? Marketing is you create the value. That's your job. That is what you do all the time. Any product for that matter.
Yeah.
It's okay?
Yes. So as you rightly said that pricing a product at the lowest is in your in the worst decision any company would have made. But so what exactly would you say, as per your experience, would be your let's say the financial challenges that you would face and what they would when they would arise when you're trying to globally price any product in different countries or different regions which have different models of reimbursement. So how do you would tackle these challenges?
The pricing.
Yes.
So the pricing, as we discussed, the pricing is in Europe. The reimbursed market is pretty. There is a clear steps. For example, you go to UK. UK do not do they follow slightly different route. So they do I do not know, have you heard something called the quali per, I don't know whether you heard this,
Quality.
not quality, this is the quality of life years.
Life, yes.
Okay, so this is a measure by which you do. So they call it cost effectiveness of your product. So UK goes by the cost effectiveness. So they say, if your threshold, the quali should be 20,000 pound per quali. If your, and now what is 20,000? How do you get this 20,000, 30,000? So you do a modeling. This is called your cost effectiveness model. Alka.
Yes.
Professor Alka. So she will tell you that how to build this kind of a model, cost effectiveness model. It's a health economic model. And if you are below 20,000, you get a good price. And if your product doesn't show the cost effectiveness means what? Compared to other products, are you selling the cost for the payer? That means are you reducing what? The hospitalization, morbidity, mortality. So you need to show all of that. If you show that it is cost effective and also if you are below the threshold, you have a better chance to get a better price in UK, for example. You go to Italy, Italy is again very different. Spain again very different. So there is no one standardized approach in the reimbursed markets. Each market looks at it very differently. Okay. So this is more complex and also they look at each other's price. So if you're in Germany, if you're in France, these are the two most difficult markets. And they are very clinically driven. You look at the clinical data, they go by the clinical data. You, have you heard something called network meta-analysis, NMA, or indirect treatment comparisons? Not heard this. So these are all like you do not have a head-to-head study, but you can do in theoretically. It's like a meta-analysis with lot of other clinical trials. You do it together. So the meta-analysis you can do. Some other countries they accept meta-analysis, but Germany doesn't accept. France doesn't. To some extent, France accepts, but Germany doesn't accept. This is not acceptable as per our standard. You need to have, or this the design should be accordingly. So therefore, the pricing, wherever your argument, your value is becoming narrower, you have a problem, challenge of price. And then the price is more a negotiation. Okay, you have to sit across the table. They say, okay, I don't see much value in your product. Let's debate. So you go with the price, they will give you another price, and then you decide what to do. Okay, and it may take a lot of time because between the submission and finally you get the product launched, there could be a almost 12 months to 18 months, 24 months. In Portugal, it takes even more time. Greece also is somewhere in between. So this is all reimbursed market. But if you come to other markets, like in India, the pricing, as I told you, the pricing is very marketing driven, and it's up to you what price you want to build. Now, what is the optimum price? That means you get the maximum your customers are willing to pay for that. And the moment you increase it, it drops the willingness. You can do the market research to say that beyond this particular point, you reach the threshold, then it drops the willingness to pay for it. And you need to study all of that, and then you decide how do I plan the pricing. If I get an added benefit, I prove it that I have an added benefit. I'm below the threshold. My ability to price it would be definitely on the higher side. But we also make some what you call analogs. The analogs are primarily your competitors, other molecules. You look at their price also. So you can say, I don't want to go below this price. But that itself will not help you because you need to prove why they should not bring you down below that. So your argument should be very watertight. Difficult.
So India has a price controlling mechanism of pharmaceuticals. So sir, how does it impacting the innovation and access to the medicine in Indian market?
Yeah, it's a very I would say a difficult question because what happens? India has got a large population to manage, so it's very challenging for them. One hand, they have launched the Ayushman Bharat, and they have already said that health insurance would be for all below a level of their income, so they're below a poverty level. So I think there is a cutoff below that they are all eligible for the Ayushman. It's a flagship product for them, and very successful.
Yes.
Some of the states have made really good use of that.
Commercial also in the first place.
Correct. Correct. And they're making more progress in that direction, which is an excellent thing. Now, NPP is necessary because NPP also looks at certain the processes. How do they select these are the drugs will come into the price control? So there is a lot of debate between the industry and the ministry. And when I was here, there used to be like consultation, and they were very open. They will discuss with you because I remember that the main challenge, if a country like in India or everywhere else, your healthcare budget is not growing. How will you manage? One side you are getting the newer products which are cutting edge of it's very expensive, like Novartis' gene therapy or Keytruda, which is so expensive. If I have to manage those products, at the same time I have to manage my malarial drug anti-diarrheal drugs, or simple vitamin supplements. So I need to manage cough expectorant. So you see the spectrum. One side like, highly specialized product, one side very generic product. So unless I create some headroom, and therefore they try to see how they can somehow or other manage from that point of view. And also there is also a important thing is about looking at the affordability in India, particularly the anti-cancer products. It is it's a challenge by many patients. You know that. In fact, I remember quite some time back that they find it very difficult to get these products. Many families. So there, the government has to step in to say, okay, fine, this is the way perhaps we'll do it. I will tell you another very interesting thing from my experience, and I think that government is very prudent from that point of view. I remember working on the hepatitis C with the government of Jammu Kashmir and also with Haryana government. And there we saw they are very much open. They have the budget, but they will go for the tender. And they said, okay, we'll do all of these stuff. Of course, I need to give the best price because I should not say that I will, I also need to be sensitive about it. And that was the fight I will do with my headquarters to give the price to the government because government gives you cannot say my private as well as government is the same because they are very different set of patients are being treated. Make sense? So there is a usefulness, but always there is a debate between the industry and the government, and I think it's a very interesting, healthy debate always, and we find out the common ground to ensure that this is in the right spirit, this is being done. It also discourages if you really push beyond a particular, because everybody, whoever is manufacturing, they also would like to make some money. So if really, goes and cuts my vein, I will not do it beyond a particular point. So the businessman also looks for that. I think government is also very much sensitive towards that. So I see it's pretty, there are challenges, there will be some challenges, but this is, and it is not only in India, there are other countries also, they do the same. Good. What else?
Yeah. So, since all of us are growing in India, and can you tell us some things that we can inculcate in our lives so that we can prepare for the global markets? Like you said, it's very different to work with a team of, say, Italian people and working in India. So, is there some specific, like roadmap or things that we can look at so that we can also prepare to adapt to the global market, or is it like just follow what we are being taught right now?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. I remember as a did that, like how do I say, my daughter she is just 18 years, so she decided she should know how to drive. So she said, Dad, I will do this. So it's all discussion in theoretically. So if I put this clutch and then with my right leg or left feet, but nowhere close to driving. So whichever explanation I give, in front of the car is very different experience, right? So no matter what we try to do, it helps in the real life situation. You need to solve it then and there itself. So it's all about your mindset. And how to prepare your mindset depends on what kind of exposure you are getting. You see, if you continue, for example, like I come from Calcutta. If I also had a choice to stay back in Calcutta and continue to rest of my life, and things would have been quite good for me also. No problem at all. Okay, fish and curry, rice, every day supply is fine, and good food. Now, why the hell did I move to Mumbai? And when I came in, I came first, and of course my family came later. When I went to US, again, Mumbai I was fine. My rest of my colleagues, they said, Ashish, why are you going to US now at this time? You're so comfortable here. I think that's you make a choice in your life. When you make a choice, you cannot grumble. And I also know somebody, one of my very good friend of mine from HR, I will not name and I'll not name the company. He went in a similar global role. And he told me, I'm not enjoying anything here, Ashish. So he had to go back very soon. And honestly speaking, it's not easy. Because as I said, here you are the boss. Like, more people are coming, people, but nobody bothers when you are there. Okay, nobody cares. Nobody will ask you even how are things. I mean, okay, once you develop some rapport, then people will ask. So in other words, what I'm saying that these things, unless you go into the water to swim, like standing there to say, no, I will put this way if I do this, then if not, it doesn't work. You have to get into the water to swim, to learn to how to swim. And it's about your mindset, the other thing which I would say. So I was fortunate, my parents, my family also said, okay, you go. If they also could have said, no, no, you stay back. So I understand it's not easy for everyone to do like that. So therefore, my suggestion would be if any one of you in future, you get an opportunity, even into difficult situation, how would I say that? There will be difficult situations, and you feel like enough. Let me go back. Okay, this is not worth. Okay, there is no one I can share my feelings because you sometimes the US guys are very good, but sometimes they do not understand what you're saying. Okay, because they say, well, why are you saying this? So because there are cultural differences, and this is everywhere it is same. Japanese again very different. So you cannot explain things to them, and they do not respond to you. So you talk to them, they listen to you, they do this. You say they understood, they have not understood. You thought that they have agreed with you. Actually, they have nothing. They have agreed with you. After 7 days, they will come and say that whatever you said, this is absolutely crap. They thought. But when you make the presentation, you thought you did a damn good job. Okay, and they were all very happy with you. So unless you experience, how do you know this thing? So you have to go there. You make the mistake, come back, again go there, correct yourself, and all of us will go through the same process. We are not born, and at least I was not born with that. I come from a very middle class family. So therefore, I did not have that kind of an exposure in the past. So that all of them was like you. I had to find out a way. I cannot grumble. I cannot complain. I made a choice to come to this place. I cannot say I'm not getting my food. Where is my sambar? No, I cannot say that. You get the point?
Yeah.
So to a large extent, what I'm trying to say is that it's about the mindset. You make a choice in your life. Now, are you gaining in this process? Of course, you gain a lot. How do you motivate yourself? Okay, and that is very important. That because I don't know. I mean, again, I'm talking about myself because I also have those moments of not feeling so well when I'm alone. And the leaders are very how do I say, very lonely position because the people believe below you that leaders do not cry, leaders are very macho people like cowboy and trigger happy people. They are not. They are another human being. So your authenticity as a leader, sometimes you ask yourself, you feel like, am I, is it something right I'm doing? But what I realized that it's to be very important to be candid with your team members. If you felt bad, you say that I felt bad, and nothing wrong with that. You are a human being. You cannot be right because just because you are a boss, everything should not be right. I can also make mistakes, which is fine, and that is the authenticity. The authentic leadership talks about. I saw one of my leaders. He's a British guy from NHS. He was in NHS England, and then he became my boss. When I was in US, short fellow, and very funny guy. So we will all have a meeting, and at the end of the meeting, somebody will come and pick up all the used cups and glasses to throw somewhere. This guy will go everywhere and pick up everyone's glasses and throws. I said, what is he doing, this man? I saw once, twice. I said, why are you doing this? He said, no, I can do it. Like, why a janitor will come, someone. He said, but why should I bother that fellow? We use this room for the whole day. It's my responsibility to clean the room. And that, this is cultural shift, right? In India, there are people to work this. You feel like you try to make as messy as possible, and somebody will come and clean the job. But it doesn't work. Now, unless you are exposed to this, then it strikes you. So there is your boss is, he goes to Starbucks and he's calling me, Ashish, do you need a coffee? And he asked everybody. Then I see this man with a bag with 4 cups of coffee, he's coming there. He's my boss. In India, exactly other way around. Boss. No, unless you go there, how would you know this sitting here? Tell me.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think we are all taking advantage of you being here and then trying to extract, like all the information.
So no, but you understood what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
So go there, take the risk, let it be painful, hang in there, be clear about what you're gaining. Don't look at the negatives, look at the positives. Okay, and see that how do you grow from there, develop the rapport. And at this age, I'm learning a language to converse because, of course, I don't have to communicate in Italian there. They speak in English. But in general, if I have to go to the market, if I go there, I need to speak in Italian. Unfortunately, they don't speak in English so well. So I need to speak. So I'm learning now. With all my traveling and all, it becomes difficult. But I'm very happy that I'm learning a new language at this age. It's good fun. And the people are very happy. So they call it like Io studio Italiano. Means I'm studying Italiano. Parlo poco, but I can speak very little. So and they get super excited. The cab drivers, you're super excited. Wow, go, bravo, bravo. So and I don't know if you want this actually. So but he was super excited. So I think that sometimes maybe another thing which I wanted to tell you, if you want to know, all of you, I have seen people go there, but they want to retain their own identity. They don't want to mix. I said, that also doesn't help. You need to mix with them. Try to understand their culture, understand their problems, understand their perspectives, their pain points, their culture. Then it's fun. Okay, don't try to be, I'm the, like water and oil do not mix. It doesn't work. I don't know whether I could give you some answer.
Yeah, I got some part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not all.
You said the leader, is a lonely spot to be at. So, and you also mentioned how you do such in-depth market research in terms of developing a product when it comes to like multiple countries. So, do you think there can be a gap between the leader and the people who are actually executing the research? So, is there like a some coloring that is happening between the ranks in a company? Does that ever happen?
There are some, it can happen. It depends on the leader. So, for example, as I said, if I say that I will decide everything for my team member, of course that guy will say, okay, you decide. But I don't do that. So I say that you run this. I am there as to help you. If you have any question, you ask me. And we discuss together. He said, Ashish, do you think we should do this? I said, what do you think about it? He said, no, maybe I think we should do it. I said, okay, if you believe that, let's do it. But then I can ask questions, so why do you think it is important for you to do it?
Yeah.
So leaders, another important thing of the leaders is ask the right questions. Your job is not, my job is not to answer, to give an answer to them. So, okay, go right, go left, no. I said, why? Somebody was telling me that, anyway, I'll tell that example a little later. But so therefore, my idea would be asking my team members, they run very much their own stuff. I don't come in between. But we discuss before he or she does that, the market research or the peer research. And he or she is on his own. I mean, I don't come in between at all. She designs the research. She checks with me. So, Ashit, do you believe that we should add something, delete something, modify something? That's my role. But, so it is something like, I don't know, I also cannot remember. Did you read this Alice in Wonderland?
Yes.
Huh? You remember there was a cat called Cheshire Cat? Somebody is smiling and say, yeah, I remember Cheshire Cat. So Cheshire Cat is, so this guy, I think Alice, met with Cheshire Cat, and And Cheshire Cat was in the somewhere in the there were three there were three roads, three directions. So she asked the Cheshire Cat that which direction I should go. So her the Cheshire Cat said it depends on where do you want to go. Okay. Say I don't know what you tell me. Say how can I tell you? I mean it depends where it depends on you. Where do you want to go? So same thing actually. So if you do not ask the right question, you don't get the right answer. So you need to ask the right question. So leadership, it is very important to develop that, to ask the right question. And need not be that I know this, by the way. You may not know, but asking the right question, that why do you think that we should leave that out? For example, we selected few countries to do the peer research, and we decided not to include few countries to do the research. The question is, why did we leave them? There must be some reason. Is it a cost only? Is it because we do believe those markets are very different markets, so we may not go there? What is the reason to drop those? So if you know clearly that this is the reason why I'm dropping this or I'm doing this, then I'm clear.
So that clarity.
That your clarity of thought should be there. Any other question? Sorry.
Sir, do you use AI for these things, for Android development, everything, like this research and everything?
Honestly speaking, the AI in peer research has started coming in. There are a couple of vendors whom we met, and they have started using very much AI, and we are doing recently with another vendor, and they're saying they're doing this because today, particularly the predictive analysis, predictive model. So they use a lot of AI, and because you have a lot of data points. Now, how do you use the various data points to do the future predictive? It's not the retrospective, what happened in the past. You are predicting the future. And there I see a lot of help of AI. Farm industry also have started using AI in the supply chain management, particularly the machine learning, all of that, and also particularly in the drug discovery. Because when I was sharing today, you start with a large number of assets, molecules, and then you say that how do I funnel it down to few. For example, I'm looking for some drug for Alzheimer's disease, and I know these are target molecules, but all of them may not be commercially successful. It may fail in the clinical trials. How would I decide which one can have more probability to succeed? AI can help. So these are the areas AI, but this is more pharmaceutical. But if you go to the healthcare, particularly in the hospital setting, there is a lot of use of. I used to work with the GE, General Electric. So they have got something. They have it's like they are very upmarket, and of course those who can afford their system, and they can predict in a very busy hospitals. They can tell you that in the next 30 days how many patients will be admitted. And how do you know that? Again, predictive model. So they look at your for the last so many months trend. That how many patients, which kind of patients came admitted, during which day did they go to emergency, or it was all planned. So then they decide that this many beds you need. So this is all AI. So when I looked at this particular, they call it a control room in a hospital. It looks like a science fiction movie. It's unbelievable. The kind of data comes together to see that what tells you that what might happen in the next 30 days or next couple of weeks, that mission, what kind of operation you may do, all of that stuff. So it's very, I would say that AI is coming in a big way, and we believe that we need to take advantage of the technology for sure.
Just if we continue on this subject, so what do you think? What is the outlook for global farming right now? What do you feel it would be? What do you think is coming? Any innovation that you feel is very emerging, or is farmer trying to go into some other segment, or what are they trying to do? What do you think?
One is the area we were talking today, apart from, of course, there are many unmet medical needs, as we spoke in the morning. That, for example, in many neurological disorders, we don't have any product. don't have a product in Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. We do not have product even very psychiatric, even the mental. Yeah. So and similarly in cancer patients. So there are many areas. Similarly, rare diseases. Okay, there are a lot of rare diseases there we do not have any product, unfortunately. So what do you do? So the particularly, and when you say the industry, you need to understand there are some researchers, and they are not doing any research, but they look at the smaller research organizations, and they go and in-license those products. So the researchers are trying to find out some cure in those areas where they believe there is an unmet medical need. For an example, there are many actually. If you go look at the very, so for an example, in India, I do not know you have read this. There is something called maternal mortality. So during the childbirth, the mother dies because of bleeding. And you know why? And in that point of time, there is a drug which you need to stop the bleeding. And this drug is very, very vital, and this drug is very thermosensitive. That means if the temperature goes up, this product doesn't work. So you need to keep it in a refrigerated condition so that it works when you need that most. Now imagine if you get a product of that, but it is thermostable. Really doesn't matter whether it's 40 degree, 50 degree, or 20 degree, still it is thermostable. So this kind of need is there, right? So the science is working towards this kind of a need. Same is in Africa. It is not only in India. In Africa also the similar situation. So the global pharmaceutical organizations, I'm talking global, they are trying to find out the answers for some of these, unmet medical needs, and trying to find out some solution. It's not easy. You come at the end and then you realize this is not good enough. Germany doesn't want to buy the product. France will not give you the right price. So what will you do? What is the value of your research? You spend so much of money. So and then at the same time there are biosimilars. You have heard biosimilars, biologic products. Biologic products is not a pharmaceutical ingredient, like it's not a powder. It's a monoclonal antibody. So that is also becoming very, very promising, and is also expensive. But now there is another set of companies that are coming into the biosimilars, like a clone of biologics, and trying to build their portfolio. So they are trying to juggle both, and also trying to see how do I continue to remain focused on certain therapeutic areas, and particularly those difficult to treat conditions like cancer and infectious disease. There you need innovation. You also need the innovation maybe in the tuberculosis, because today the tuberculosis patients are multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, so nothing works. So you need a drug which actually works for those multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, and there are drugs.
Even I come across one person. Okay, he is working on rare diseases and he is having nearly 900 molecules, and he already made it, but no one is coming forward to help him. Who can fund him for making some this support?
Correct.
So I am the member of IIM, Confederation of Indian Industries. So life member of that one. So there we are discussing about it. How can we go forward and how can we bring these medication for rare diseases? So he has already made this molecule, but the companies, they were not coming forward. It cost more than like 10 billion. Okay, for one rare disease. So even in the morning also we are talking about river blind. So about Merck, their funding means the other means the other countries, they were doing something. Okay, good on the rare diseases. So we can do that something. So have any idea about it? How can we go forward as an Indian setup in rare diseases?
You're asking me?
Yes.
Okay. I thought you were answering.
Yeah.
So a rare disease is very difficult, and the number of patients are very small. In a country, there could be 50 patients, 70 patients, 100 patients, like that. And for that, you need to come out with a drug. So it's not easy. So it's challenging, but there are private equity companies, other funding, venture capitalists. So they try to put a bet on some of these. It's a gamble. It works, it doesn't work, as we discussed in the morning. So some such investors you get. For example, example, today we have lack of anti-infectives. So recently I was in World Economic Forum office in Geneva to meet their head of the healthcare function. And they're very, very worried about how we are going to handle this AMR, which is the antimicrobial resistance. And we are depleting all the options today what we have to treat a particular patient, particularly gram-negative bacteria. They develop resistance very quickly. They are very smart. So how do you handle that? So it's there is no straightforward answer, Dr. Kiran. So we need to find out some such investors to find out. So for AMR, we are also trying to create some funding, all of that stuff. Anything else?
Hello sir, my name is Yashasvi. I wanted to ask what was the greatest challenge you faced while operating in a global market?
Challenge is that each market is so unique that you need to understand the market very well. If you have very half-baked knowledge about the market, you will not be able to work there. So you really need to build your knowledge base. So what we do, we go and sit down. For example, I'm working with Germany. I spend time there in the German team to understand what is important, what will help them. Because remember, I'm in the global function. I have to work with my German colleague to make it successful. I'm not there myself. I'm helping her. Okay. But I need to understand what are her challenges. Why her? Because it is she in Germany. So her name is Corina. So Corina has to tell me that Ashish, this is what we need. This is the data I need. This evidence I need. Okay. This particular answer, how do I model it? That is what I need. This is what German authorities will look for. So knowledge is very critical. As I told you, pharmaceutical is all about knowledge. It's a knowledge industry. If you do not understand the knowledge, the clinical trial when you see, you need to understand how it has been designed. So sometimes if you do not have the knowledge, of course you struggle. And that's sometimes you face. And then also sometimes what happens from the other side, which is a softer side, many of these people might say that, Ashish, how can you teach me? Because I know better than you. I'm in Germany. You're sitting in Italy. How do you know what are my problems? So this I need to manage. So she might say, Ashish, why should I talk to you? You know nothing. Okay, I know better than you about my market. So how do you manage that situation? So it's not the question that who knows more than other. So this kind of discussion is futile. So you need to then manage the how do you communicate this and how do you work together. And many a times what happens, at least in the developed markets, they become like a prisoner of their own issues because it's a very tough market, very complex, challenging market. You do not have much road actually available for you. So you give up very quickly. So that's all one can do. But we Indians, we do not give up. We do not know how to give up. We are resilient people. So if the door is not open, you find out a window. That window is not open, you find another window.
Yes.
So we keep challenging. And as I said, we are good in asking questions. So if you keep asking the right questions with sincerity, not like to test our knowledge. No, never do that. It will show disrespect to that person. And it is not to prove that you know more than her. That is also not the point. It's the question that how do we get that point so that she starts thinking, oh, I never thought like this, Ashish. Yeah, that's a good point. So why not we look at that? If you reach that particular point, you made a case. And then she will start thinking. Then she will come back and say, yeah, what you said is actually made a lot of sense to me, Ashish. Because sometimes I get a little bit of very fixed thinking in my head. But then you need to push them here and there very nicely to say that, well, this is also a possibility. And as I said, honestly speaking, being an Indian in those markets really helps me. Because I have no problem at all to think differently. I ask very stupid questions. Why not this? Why not that? What if we do this? So they say, oh, really? I've not thought like that. maybe. So remember always that as you grow in your leadership, asking the right question, do not feel shy to ask questions. There is no right questions or wrong questions. Questions are questions. Okay? So never ever shy away from asking questions.
So I have one more question. That was, as you mentioned, the knowledge and attitude. They play a very vital part while recruiting oneself. While you were recruiting, so what do you think could be the other important parameters?
Can you repeat? I could not follow exactly what.
Okay, so as you mentioned, knowledge and attitude are two very important parameters. And so, what could be the other important parameters?
Other than
Very good question. So, and as I said, I mean, over a period of time when I have seen so many people, and I used to say on the lighter side, jokingly, I can say that no, 8 o'clock, I see a lot of tired faces. So, because I used to work with a psychiatrist, and I can read the mind. When I see somebody, I can see what's going on in your mind. I mean, so, because that is what I learned actually because of training. And so, therefore, the questions could be the more the willingness, I must say that. Are you willing? How much? Yeah, and you cannot fake. I can catch very quickly the fakeness, very quickly. Honestly speaking, I see the face and I can tell you. It's very easy for me. And you can also say, Ashish, have you made a mistake? Of course, I'm a human being now. I made a mistake. But usually I don't go wrong. And many people came and told me, Ashish, about your people, the assessment is spot on. Because I'm very close to people. So I spend a lot of time with people. I invest time deliberately. And other bosses will not do that. But I spend time. And thereby I understand from where you are coming. Or you have got a lot of waves in your mind, right? You have this question, that question. And then you also talk to other people. They will also put something in your mind. Then you say, why Ashish is doing this, blah, blah, blah. Politics in the company. So, and many a times even in my previous company, if I ask somebody something, deliberately I would ask, I know that this will come back to me with someone else. So he will talk to somebody, that fellow will talk to somebody, then it's like a Chinese whisper. And then will come say, Ashish, did you ask that question? And then somebody was very upset with that. And I said, good, now it has traveled. I knew who will carry. Everybody doesn't. But I know if I tell somebody he's very excited, see you go outside, what's up, this is what Ashish said. So this is your willingness, honestly speaking, and as I said, this is a little bit of your softer skill. There is no hardcore evidence. This is not a hardware. This is a software. So which you develop over a period of time, but the sincerity, as I said, your authenticity is important. If I would be more than happy to say I don't know. I'm fine. I accept that. In the interview, somebody says I don't know. I'm happy. You don't lose anything. You get the point. But when you're coming for the interview, one would expect that you'll prepare at least something and you'll say, okay, this much I knew, but beyond this, I'm not prepared at this point of time, which is fine with me. Okay, but don't try to fake. You get the point. And interviews I have taken because I was trying to fill in one particular position recently, and I interviewed almost all the candidates, and they become like friends with me, and then I have not taken many of them. But we are now in the LinkedIn all friends, and it's a market access is a community in Europe, so we bump into each other in every single conference. So I cannot hide. So remember when we select, if I don't take somebody, I do not select somebody, you don't become an enemy. It's just, and it's not that you are bad. It's also not the point. Maybe the particular role, the quality which you're looking at doesn't fit into that particular role. That's all. Maybe another role you fit in much better. Simple. Make sense? Somebody from the top.
Good evening, sir. Ajinke this side. So I wanted to ask, you said India and pricing. So India is price sensitive, like that's what you said. So in India we have two types of audiences. So there is India A, which earns more than 15 LPA, 10 LPA, which spends around 10 to 15,000 on food related products. And then we have that bottom pyramid India C. It doesn't earn that much, which is willing to pay, they have aspirations, but they don't have they are not just able to pay. So I want to like understand from an Indian corporate leader from a point of view. So how do you see that? So are Indian marketing dynamics really that generalized, or companies chooses between these audiences, and then do you want to capitalize on that India A or India C?
You know, uh, I'll give you my experience. Long time back, when I launched this product, Allegra, it was very expensive, as I told you, compared to all other competition. Right? Now, I went to a place called Thrissur. You know Thrissur? In Kerala? So there is a pulmonologist, basically a chest specialist, and he sees a lot of allergy patients, and he tells our people, and I was in marketing that time. So he tells our guys that I cannot write this product because this is very expensive product, as you have said, because my patients cannot afford this, right? I went there. What I saw outside in his room, he has mentioned big and bold with a big bold letter that my consultation fee is 1,000 rupees. Every time you come, even for follow-up, still you need to pay 1,000 rupees. Okay? And still he sees 4 patients. Right? So when finally we went to meet that fellow, I said, you tell me, because I'm told that you see only 4, you are unable to find out the right patients to write this product. So I'm just waiting outside. I want to see who is this poor patient which you are talking about. He said, why? I said, no, this is what I saw outside. He said, then he started laughing. He said, no, 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 I also see poor patients. I said, no, I'll wait outside. I'll see who are these poor patients. Torn clothes and no money. I'm talking about which period? I'm talking about 2004, 2005. If somebody is asking for 1,000 rupees as a consultation fee, that time it was a huge money. And in Kerala is very sensitive market. So this is like your mindset. You believe that your patients cannot, and you need to communicate that. It is the value which you're communicating. And so therefore, as I said, and the other side of it, particularly the rich people, and the best example was that, I'll not name somebody, but anyway, very rich guy, he comes and tells me, that is the top bracket people, right? They said, your Allegra is very expensive, Ashish. What are you talking about? Rather, I would say, so therefore, don't go by that. If you believe those top people, they can pay any damn thing, no, not necessarily. For the drugs, it pinches. They believe they don't mind a Gucci or, Armani. This is all fine. They go to spa, they go to restaurants. That spend is very different spend. A mobile, I can splurge the money. But if I have to buy an anti-allergic drug, that should be the most cheapest drug, by the way. Why? I used to remember, so what I'm challenging this belief, what you're saying. Okay, if you understood my answer. So, in hospitals, every time you negotiate, as being a company here in India, they will try to squeeze your margin and they will say, give me 20% discount, 30% discount. So I used to tell them, jokingly, I said that I have never seen a surgeon, their operation fee, the surgery fee, they have reduced over a period of time. Tell me one guy who used to take 5 years ago 5 lakhs rupees for CABG, now he takes 1 lakh. Tell me, give me one example. I said, no. I said, why not? Charity begins at home, right? So there are sometimes, in other words, what I'm saying, there are some insincere objections you get as a marketeer. And you need to defend that with your witty response. Because there is no logic.
So, like, you would still go with the higher price. You will go with the higher price when you launch a product.
Of course, depend on my merit of my product. Why not?
So, does people in market really value the value of a product?
Depends
Usually
on which
management
product.
ask for the concessions.
It depends on which product, I mean, and how sensitive is the market. For example, if you look at,
I want like what's your take on in Indian market?
as I said, it depends on the category of products. For example, if you're talking about a product for the cardiac disease, for example, I'll give you a very good example. You have gone through a stent. You understand stenting?
Yes.
You had a cardiac arrest. They put a stent in your in the cardiac your coronary artery. Correct? Are you fine with this? Now, there should not be any further clotting near that stent. So they give you anti-clot, anti-platelet. Okay. Now you have put up the most expensive stent inside. But if you get a clot, your entire stent you have to re-stent. Now, why do you have to settle with a product which could be the cheapest product? Because I know this particular patient is vulnerable patient. Now, this is situation one. Situation two, common cough. Cough expectorant. Now, you cannot say that my expectorant is the most expensive expectorant. You get the point now. So it depends on the severity of the disease. If the severity of the disease, that means the impact is huge, then I can bring the value there. But if it is a cough expectorant between the 2-3 cough expectorant, what is the difference? Big difference, nothing. So you cannot establish a high price in those category of products. You got the point now. So you need to think as a marketeer that where am I, which category of products, and therefore I can put this there. Like in car, you have Mercedes high end, you have got even the low end also. But everywhere you cannot do that. But I hope I could answer your question.
So, so guys, due to time constraint, we have to end this session for up.
Just 1 minute, more minute.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts, any other questions? Because I see a couple of hands there. No, I see a couple of hands. Are you okay if I stand? Because my iWatch is telling me that you have to stand. Time to stand. Yeah. I can take 3 questions, is that fair? 5 questions. Okay, 5 questions. Quick. Rapid fire. Then I cover, and then we go. 5 questions. Quick.
Sir, first of all, good evening. My name is Ash. And the question I wanted to ask is, like, if there's a new disease, for example, COVID-19 was there. There's like a space race among all the companies to bring the most effective and fast drugs in the market. So, how do you bring the drugs faster while maintaining efficiency and effectiveness?
I would say absolutely there is nothing one can do to get the some of these research. Vaccine was a completely different story. We are running against time. We were losing so many lives. It's a completely different scenario. Pandemic is very different. It doesn't apply for a normal discovery of drugs. It follows a very rigorous testing. And that is why you hear a lot of skepticism about the vaccines. You saw that? Yeah. Side effects, a lot of data. Because that was the time we could not stop. We had to get something. So these two things are very different. But having said that, AI is helping us to shorten that time period, to select the right product, see where we can get the maximum probability of success. So that is helping us to do that. Apart from that, unfortunately, it takes time. So that from the discovery, finally to the launching into the market, it's almost like 4 years, 5 years minimum, could be more. Okay, it's nothing you can do, unfortunately, because you need to prove it is safe. And how will you give the product to someone if you do not know whether it's safe or not safe? And again, it is not safe. You also need to prove that it is safe for the pregnant women, it is safe for the children, and you need to do that study. And you cannot say, no, it's fine. No, it is not fine, because you are playing with the lives of somebody. So you have to take the responsibility to say, no, I am 100% sure this. As I said, there were some 3 or 2 deaths or a couple of deaths there, and we have to abandon the project. We could not launch that product in Merck. Did you, because I want to go like who's, okay, these two, okay. Please, I'll come back to you. Quick.
Sir, as you said that getting out of your country is a bit difficult thing. And I want to know that what are the differences and difficulties did you face for the cultural difference, like as a leader when you were working in the corporates of India and as a leader when you were working for the corporates of the other countries? What are the differences and difficulties you face there?
Lot of difficulties, to be honest with you.
So that we could prepare ourselves.
No, no. Why should I tell you? You should also face, right? You should go through what I have gone through.
Okay,
But the fact is that definitely there are many challenges, which I had to face. For example, like if you look at their cultural difference, like US guys are, yeah, how do I say that? Not in negative terms, but that is the way they are. There is no malice intention, but they're very aggressive. They use a lot of superlatives. We do not use. They say it's the outstanding thing we have done. I say, "Oh, really?" Now, I cannot speak like that. Initially, I had this problem. Like I said, okay, I mean, this is a normal stuff, by the way. We do it all the time. I've never said it's outstanding, but this guy is saying outstanding. So these are small things. These are all softer side, not the knowledge side. Knowledge you can complete. But these are the areas which you need to then see that how, and you are also learning, right? You are absorbing as a sponge. Okay? And at the same time, you also need to give it back whenever you feel like. So you know that it's like then love all, you know. So 0-0. You start all over again. Yeah.
Sir, as you mentioned that there are certain chances before, while pre-launch that your research might fail and there's a sudden change in demand and need. So, like, what would be the best course of action you would have taken to minimize the loss if there is sudden change?
Change in?
Demand, we can say. Like, I had done a full research and then.
It happens in many launches.
Then how you allocate?
It becomes, and you know why it happens. The two ways. Allocation is the next thing. So there will be, of course, a waste. Okay, because your forecast and what happens in reality are two different things. Our assumptions, many a times, we do not pressure test. So when you build your forecast of a new product, you made a lot of assumptions. And those assumptions, you need to test it. And say, this assumption I tested, this assumption I tested, and balance 90%, I'm sure the correct assumption I'm making. If you do not validate these assumptions, there could be some assumptions will go wrong. And therefore you land up in that kind of a situation. And then the demand goes down. For example, like real life situation, Allegra, for example, we did not realize how the Glaxo would react when we went to the market. We knew they would react. So in the second year, after the first successful year, second year we started coming down because they reacted. They started a campaign which we were not very much anticipating at that point of time. But it had hit us. But we knew what to do. But it took some time for us again to regain and respond to that. And we came back to that. But there are a lot of learning when you fail. I would say you learn a lot when you fail. And there is a lot of writing from, there is my professor in Harvard, there's a school called Amy Edmondson. He talks about what you call that there's a book she has written on failures, intelligent failure. How can the failure could be intelligent? So it's like contradicting, but you must fail to learn. It's very important. We are so afraid to fail. Not necessary.
So then how you allocate those resources?
I mean, then it's at that point of time you need to decide what to do. Or maybe you do the course corrections. You don't reallocate. Then you correct so that demand comes back. So two things can happen. So you do not. So maybe there could be a temporary drop in the demand because of certain wrong decisions of yours, and then you make those changes, and again demand comes back. Okay, so it takes a while. 3, 4, now 5. Okay.
And the question is, almost every leader face ethical dilemmas, and in medical industry, pharmaceutical industry, this industry is very much prone to it. So, like stakeholders want to go with some product, but you feel like it's not a good thing to go with. So there must be some ethical dilemmas. So how to deal with them? I just want to know.
Maybe it is a time, but I could not get. I'm sorry.
So
So you're saying that stakeholder.
Yeah, stakeholders wants to go with some product, like it's a go-to-market product, and but you feel
When you say stakeholder, means who is the stakeholder?
like owners of the company or directors in the board.
Okay.
In that case, like how to tackle that ethical dilemma. I
How
can
do
give
you
one
call it
example.
ethical? I'm trying to understand.
I can
Can you
an
give some example?
Yeah, like a case was happened like a few 1 or 2 years back in Zambia. Like cough syrup was provided by some company in Somikat.
And children died in some
Children
countries.
died, but it was banned in India,
Right.
Indian market. So these type of situation, like how can we deal with such situations?
But this is not ethical. This is very clearly violation of certain things. Sorry, I mean,
But they did such things.
you're talking about that manufacturer, that guy who is manufacturing those half experiments. Maybe they missed somewhere, maybe in the process something came up which was more than maybe required, and therefore those children died. So in my position, I would say that the quality is very important in pharmaceuticals. So you need to really think that, are you very clear about maintaining the quality of your products? So ethical dilemma is like, it's very black and white, to be honest with you. Very clear, to me at least, because honestly speaking, I do not understand that. Because either this is a good product which is fit to be given to any particular patient, or this is not good product. Simple. There is nothing in between.
Companies went, that company went with that much. Maybe
They did not go. It came out. Maybe during the manufacturing there were some problems. So they did not do it intentionally. You get the point? It just came out. For example, I saw that sometimes in a powder which you remix, it becomes a lump. No, it stays at the bottom of that, particularly in the for anti-infectives or something for the kids, where you mix it and then give it to the kids. It becomes a small lump and stays at the bottom of the glass bottle. Now this is not they have done for us. It is actually a part of a manufacturing defect, perhaps, which they need to correct. So there is no such intention, because if you go into the manufacturing unit, there is a lot of things which are going on. So a lot of human errors happen. You get the point?
But like many companies, like I do not remember many, and there are many examples. Like many drugs are still available in markets of Africa, and like they are banned in Europe and US.
This is like difficult for me to say. But yes, I mean, if you want to do that, I mean, it's your final decision. If you believe you want to just make money, but that is should not be there. Last question. Last question?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't ask you. Okay, yeah.
Good evening, sir. You have spoken a lot about the generic medicines and the intention of government and the manufacturer side concerns. Suppose if tomorrow government decides to protect the royalty of the firm and stops as a support for generic medicines, and but negotiate the manufacturer side with some mechanism like price ceiling. Of course, the quality and authentication for drugs should be protected. But will that meet will they satisfy the both stakeholders like manufacturer and government?
There is a clear guideline which you need to maintain for sure. There is absolutely zero tolerance in that area. There's no way. So you need to figure it out. How do you manufacture it? And there is a discussion happens. So if I find it that I cannot make it at that particular cost, I can go to the government and say I cannot make it. I'm sorry, I need little more. So but I cannot reduce my quality, as I said, because I'm dealing with some human lives. I cannot do that.
But will we accept as will you think price ceiling would act as a good solution instead of going through the generic medicines? You can protect your patent rights at the same time.
There is no clear answer to that. It could be a combination of both, perhaps. Who knows? It is not either or. So every single country, they try to manage the cost of the drug in a particular way. As I told you, Germany does in one way, India does another way, Thailand does another way, China does another way. So it's their policy, what they would like to achieve, and based on their priorities, I would say. So there is no clear-cut answer. For example, if you go and sit there and your job, your money, what will you do? So sometimes what happens is easier for me on the other side to criticize somebody. You say, okay, fine, I go, you come and sit here. Tell me how you do it. Then you realize it's not that simple. It's difficult. It's a choice you're making. Okay. So, but I understand what you're asking. There's no straightforward, clear, easy answer to that. But having said that, what I told that the quality of a pharmaceutical product, it is non-negotiable. Absolutely non-negotiable. There is nothing called थोड़ा बहुत चलता है ठीक है चलो. Because I remember, and maybe with that I will finish that. So I remember in Allegra that because Allegra is fexofenadine, it was a derivative of tarfenadine, which had some cardiac problem, and that is why it was withdrawn. So there was some story about that because it is the father was having some problems, so the son, like fexofenadine, which Allegra is, also inherited the problem from father, right? So it will also have the problem of cardiac issues. And we have to do the study to say that even at a very high dose, if somebody takes by mistake 3 times, 4 times the dose, what happens to the patient? So we need to prove scientifically that nothing happens. Take ECG, take all the other stuff. So this is very, very important. And somebody was, an UP or somewhere, one guy, my sales guy, and because we were facing a lot of these campaigns from the other competition. So one guy told me, Ashish, don't feel bad because some of my doctors were telling me that, Ashish, you know what? This product may have a cardiac problem. And somebody may die also. Allergy product. तो मैं तो बोल दिया डॉक्टर को, अगर एक दो मर भी गया ना क्या प्रॉब्लम है? मैंने बोला 2-4 तो मरते हैं ना सर, अभी क्या प्रॉब्लम है क्या? So I got so scared. I said, really? This is what you said? So there you cannot. There is no question. Absolutely zero tolerance. I mean, now if I'm the manufacturer, imagine I run a company. What will I do if I know this? Will I put it in the market? Answer is no, of course not. Will I lose if I put it into, I have to destroy the medicine? I have to destroy the medicine. Simple. The answer is very clear, straightforward. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
So, as we conclude this engaging talk show, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest, Mr. Ashish Sir, Professor Kiran Vedipati Sir, the student panel, and the representatives of Sapient, Finzerve, and Scope for the insightful discussion. Your expert insights and thought-provoking discussions have truly enriched our understanding, sir. Your contributions were not only informative but also inspiring. One particular impactful moment was when Ashish sir said, it's all about the mindset. You need to make that choice of what kind of exposure you need to get yourself into. And you can never learn until you jump into the water. So we need to get into the field, make that mistake, learn from it. Learning is greater when you deny to settle into your comfort zone. This perspective will surely resonate and stay with us as we move forward, sir. Once again, a big thanks to everyone for your time and engagement. We hope you find the conference